Hello everyone, welcome to another Art of War video. I'm John Lennon here at the end of a very long weekend painting Eldar. Thanks so much for joining me everyone. I'm here to provide a little bit of an update and a review of the new Army Painter speed paints. So this last weekend I tasked myself with painting as much of the Craft World Eldar army as possible. The goal was to hit 3,000 points. And and to help out with this challenge, I had the Army Painter, our wonderful sponsor, team up with us and provide us with their brand new speed paint line. So I'm here to give an honest review on what I thought about the Army Painter speed paints and update a little bit on how the project went. So let's get into it. So for anyone who didn't notice, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I did a lot of live streaming on this very channel where I was using the Army Painter speed paints to paint up Eldar models. Appreciate everyone who hung out with me during those paint sessions. They took a long time, and it was really made a lot better by having a good interactive chat to hang out with. So let's start off with it. Let's start off with what Army Painter speed paints are. The Army Painter speed paints were given to us by Army Painter. We got the nice large bundle set. What a speed paint is it's designed as like a one-layer paint with it's like designed as a reactive paint. So you slap it down over a primed model, and in one coat, you get the nice depth of color, similar to what Contrast was trying to do. What Army Painter is trying to do with the speed paints, though, is do what our Contrast was advertised as, which was a true one-layer paint. With Contrast, you'd run into some issues where you had to do a lot of touch-up or two layers and be very careful with it. Speed paint was designed to be exactly what it said. One layer down produces a good result. Honestly, I was really happy with it. I tried out a bunch of different colors from speed paint. Some of them proved to be favorite. Some of them were pretty good, just nice staple. So I kind of want to just talk about what it was. So to start off, I did the Zenithal priming method for the first time, where I prime a model black and then I do a white priming over it, where I don't do the entire model, but instead when I do the white layer, it's like from the top down so that it creates some shadows under the model. I think I need to get a little bit better about that. It produces a good result very quickly for a tabletop quality, but if I'm looking to do more than that, I feel like the Zenithal priming maybe didn't work as well as I wanted. I had some models, we'll see what shows up with me having a green screen behind me, like this Jane Czar in progress, where underneath she is indeed quite dark and looks shadowy. I still think that I prefer, at least for me, I prefer the look of just a normal white primer with the paint over it and the more, like rather than building the shadows in. I don't know, that's just me. I maybe need to get a little bit better with that, get some more tips from the Army Painter. So the Zenithal priming technique is what I used for most of this, and it was fine. Didn't have a strong opinion on it, but that's more of a technique than the actual product. For the speed paints themselves, what I really liked about them was that they were exactly what they were advertised as, which was very fast. The big thing was I was trying to get as many models done as possible in a very short amount of time. Obviously, you got to paint fast for that. I didn't want to spend a lot of time, searching models I just painted for like pooled paint, like going and reapplying it, doing 2 or 3 coats over the same spot. That really just drains your time, literally like doubles the amount of time it takes. I was very happy that, as advertised, speed paint was one layer down and you're done. Something that, was commented on a lot over the weekend and I talked about with Adam, since we had a video doing a little preview of the challenge last Thursday, was that because speed paint is a reactive paint, if you're going to paint over speed paint, or next to it, honestly, where it might bleed over, you really want to make sure that it's dry first, because the reactive paint means that if it gets wet, it'll like unsettle. Like if the paint was already like settled and dried, it would re-agitate it, and then it could be manipulated again, which if you did it on accident could be very annoying. But I was batch painting this whole weekend, and I had zero trouble. So for me, immediately, speed paint is designed to paint an army fast. It makes sense, right? Speed paint from the Army Painters for painting an army with speed. It's right there on the tin. I was really happy with that. Just letting things dry. I never had any trouble with the reactivity of the paint. And because it's reactive, it made it look a lot smoother when I was done. And it made it look a lot better on flat surfaces, I noticed. Really was happy with how it looked on a flat surface. Compared to contrast paint on too flat of a surface, contrast paint will look a little bit funky. I was much happier with how speed paint looked compared to contrast in that respect. So as far as quality of the product goes, was very happy with that. Also, painting out of a dropper bottle, if you've ever painted out of like the GW Citadel cans, I really like the dropper bottle. I don't know. It made everything a lot easier to manipulate. It made it a lot easier to work with. So I was personally very, very happy with the speed paint on that. Also, the fact that they come with the mixing balls inside, get a nice, satisfying little crinkle every time you shake them up. Made it really easy to shake as well. Onto the actual colors. I did quite a few models. I used quite a few different shades. Here, for example, is a Warp Spider, not based yet, unfortunately. Our basic material hasn't come in. But here's a Warp Spider that was literally all, let's see how close we can get here. This guy is all speed paint. Oh, and I dropped him. Let's grab another one. This guy is all speed paint, and it was very, very fast. Like turbo fast to paint these models. And what I like is that this makes a nice tabletop quality very, very quickly. If I were to like compare speed paint to what like using normal paint would be like, I would say speed paint is basically doing a wash that looks about as good as a base coat and wash, and a light highlight from like with conventional paints. It's like speed paint is not going to look as good as like, you know, like wet blended, like really like high level techniques where you do like 3 like, you know, built up layers of highlights over, you know, a really smooth base coat with wash, but it's not designed for that. It's designed to get tabletop quality very quickly. And for how much I painted this weekend, I'm very happy with how the Warp Spiders look. You know, as examples, I'm using the Warp Spiders because I actually painted the army in Biel-Tan green, and unfortunately there is a green screen behind me. So let me just, for amusement, let's just see how well you can see. Oh, yep, there is an invisible, oh, that's cool. You can see like the guns and the spirit stones. Yeah, this is what happens when I hold up my Biel-Tan green. But I promise, it looks good. We'll be posting a lot of pictures on social media. But yeah, I was very happy with how quickly the Warp Spiders came out. Kind of going down the colors that I used, I kind of wanted to review them. Most of the army I did with Orc Skin. I really, really liked Orc Skin, and what I also loved was that the speed paint matches the color of the primer, because Army Painter sells an Orc Skin primer, they sell an Orc Skin conventional paint, and they now sell an Orc Skin speed paint, and I was really happy with how similar the colors looked, so that if I had something that I painted with conventional paint and something I painted with the speed paint, something that I primed, it would all look the same. I hate it when like I'm trying to match like contrast paints to normal paints and I can't line it up, and it just gets very annoying because like I would, like my Space Marines I would use contrast, and then my vehicles would I would use a normal paint, and it always bugged me that I could never get the paints the exact same shade. I just got them as close as I could and called it a day. So very, very happy with Orc Skin. It's the one I use the most on all the green aspects. Works well through an airbrush as well, which was surprising. I wasn't planning on using through an airbrush, and then Adam told me that I could, so I tried it. And it worked out pretty well on like the jet bikes. So I was very, very happy with Orc Skin. Let me switch scenes real quick so that I can try to show you a top-down of not the green screen, and I can show you what it looked like. So here we go. Alright, so here on the top-down, let me show you real quick. This is one of the completed models. This isn't actually completed, but this is a Night Spinner that I'm calling done for now, for the end of the project. Was really, really happy with how the greens came out. Again, speed paint, awesome. Used in quite a few things here. Was also, what I'm waiting on just to complete this model is actually an airbrush stencil, because I plan to do the Biel-Tan vines, and then I'm going to seal the whole model up once I'm done. But for now, I'm calling this Night Spinner done. I was very, very happy with how the greens came out. And back to me. So, as far as the different colors that we use for speed paint, Biel-Tan green, A+, very happy with it. Both of the reds that I used, which were Slaughter Red and Blood Red, they're nice and vibrant. They're very, very bright. So again, you know, on this Warp Spider, you get a nice bright red. This is Zenithal priming, so primed this model black, did the white priming at a bit of an angle, then get the, you know, all the shadows, and then that red is a singular coat of red. That is one thing that I put on like a wash and let it dry and moved on, and that was it. And for how fast it was, I was very, very pleased with how the red paint ended up looking. What I've found so far is that I like the brighter colors from speed paint more. Gravelord Gray, Grim Black, and what was it? Dark Wood were the 3 like more dark colors that I used. And Dark Wood was the brown. I like that one a lot. It makes a good leather, like a dark leather look. I was happy with that one. Gravelord Gray and Grim Dark are both fine, but I think that the darker colors, I'm gonna keep using them. I enjoyed them, but I think the darker colors are like less impressive. Where they're still what they say on the tin. I used it on all the weapons, and it looks fine, but I think it's just harder to get like that effect out of a dark paint. The bright paints were really, really impressive for me. I didn't use them on everything. So like I didn't use all of the bright paints on models, but I used some on like test models when I was still working on my color scheme, and I was very, very happy with how they pop and how good one coat looks. So I think like the bright paints really impressed me with how much better than contrast they were, because it really showed how smooth they were. The speed paints, if I'm comparing, again, if we're doing the contrast comparison, if I were to compare like the GW Black Templar contrast to the Grim Dark Army Painter speed paint, I would say that they're very similar, honestly, which isn't a bad thing. I think Black Templar is one of the best contrast paints, and I frankly didn't notice as the difference wasn't as pronounced on the darker paints as it was on the brighter paints. The brighter paints, when I put it down, let it dry, I was like, wow, this looks really good. It pops really well. For like just one coat and done, I was very, very happy with how it looked. And for the darker paints, it was fine. It was exactly what it said. It just didn't like wow me as much. So I'll probably keep using them because they're very easy to use and very convenient. But like, I could totally just see myself using the bright paints on everything, even if I'm not planning to use a speed paint, literally just because I like the colors so much. The ones I like the most, again, for me, both of the reds, Slaughter Red and Blood Red, the Orc Skin, which was what I used for the Beeltan Green. I also really liked the Magic Blue, and I was actually kind of sad because I didn't use Magic Blue at all when I was painting my models. I just did it on like a test scheme, and I was like, this looks so good. And so I decided I wasn't going to go with blue because I wanted to do a Beeltan army. That was kind of the front runner. But when I just put some blue down just to look at it, I really liked how it looked. Also, the Plasmatic Bolt. The Plasmatic Bolt, which is like a kind of like a not neon. It's like almost like a toothpastey turquoise color. I really liked it a lot. I think you can do some very interesting thing with power weapons. And the Plasmatic Bolt, that's something I'm going to keep experimenting with. Because I was speed painting, I didn't go like full effect on power weapons. But overall, I was very happy with how it looked. So that's something that I'm going to kind of save and come up with for later. Also the orange that I used, which I believe is a Fire Giant orange. There's a name for this. Hold on. Dun, dun, dun. The speed paint names, I will memorize them eventually, but not today. I have no idea where it is. It's not Zealot Yellow. So this is the problem. I have like 30 paints on the desk right now. But the orange from the speed paint line, I was also very impressed with. I used it on like the Warp Spider barrels, and it was nice bright orange. I usually don't paint with orange, but I was pretty happy with this one. The last paint I want to talk about was Holy White, and this was one that I really didn't know what I was gonna think going in. So Holy White is obviously their white speed paint, and when you do a white speed paint, it's kind of weird. And we saw with Apothecary White, from, again, the obvious comparison to GLB Contrast, I bought Apothecary White when it released because I was like, yeah, I hate painting white. Let me see if I can make it easier. And I really didn't use it much, and I didn't like it. Like when I tried to use it, I just couldn't make it work. But after talking with Adam using Holy White, I was actually really, really happy with it. Where, obviously Primate White, and then I just did because I'm doing Beeltan, I've got, white helmets and like white body armor on the Guardians. The heads are going to disappear, but we'll see how this holds up. Yep, Headless Guardian. I swear I just painted it Beeltan green, and it's the exact same color as my green screen. I was very, very happy with how the white came out. Again, for a quick speed paint where I'm trying to do this as fast as possible. It's Apothecary White and then a white dry brush over it. I really enjoyed it, honestly. The speed paint made the white look pretty darn good really fast. So I think I'll probably try to work the Holy White into my sister's army and my Space Marine army, especially because I use a lot of white in my Space Marine army since it's literally a half and half blue and white scheme. So I was overall very pleased. Carl Black, absolutely. I can't wait to get your hands on him. Yeah, I think they're going on sale in the individual packaging in March. Adam said that in our last video. He said the exact date. I confess I don't remember it. But if you want to watch our preview video, I know Adam mentioned this specific date in that video. So go check that one out. Or it's probably on their Army Painter website as well. I really enjoyed just the big box set though, because there's a lot of colors in here. And some of the colors I didn't really see an immediate use for me. Like, what is it? It's called like Malignant Green. And that would be so good on like Poxwalkers. Or like any like fantasy zombies, chaos armies. But like I don't really need Malignant Green in an Eldar army. I wasn't doing anything malignant. So I was like, oh, okay, like I'm just gonna set this aside and at some point I will use it. We didn't get to that point, but same thing, like the Hive Dweller purple. Really wish I had that when I was working on like my Tyranids or my Genestealer cult. I would love to use it in that context. Peter says I want to try the white for sure. Feels the same about the white contrast. Yeah, the white contrast paint I could never get it to work, honestly. But immediately the Holy White followed by a white dry brush. I think the Holy White is the one that's not gonna, like, you want to do the dry brush over basically every time. But I still think it got me a better white than I normally do for that time. Because again, it's very, very fast. I just slapped it down like it was a wash, and then I did one dry brush over, and that was good. Usually whenever I do a white, and it's if I do like a literal wash, like a Nuln wash or even like an Agrax wash, depending on what kind of white I'm going for. Like if I'm going for more dirty or like more clinical clean, I usually have to do like 2 or 3 dry brushes over that and then an edge highlight. For just prime white, holy white dry brush came out really well. Honestly, I was very happy with, again, how fast I got to a pretty good quality. And I think that's exactly what speed paints are good for. You can absolutely do a speed paint and then go ahead and do like a highlight or a dry brush over the top. And I think it'll look good as soon as, as long as you wait and let it dry before you do it. Just like any other paint or just like contrast, I think that will still look very good. But what really stuck out to me was if I'm trying to get a whole army to tabletop, just tabletop as quickly as possible, this seems like by far the best way to do it. That was kind of my takeaway, was like for getting a whole army to mostly done, not like going for paint competition done, just like getting an army that on Friday morning was primed with not a single brushwork on it, not a single piece of brush on it. Getting that to, I can put it on a table, on a stream, take it to a tournament. I was very, very happy with that because it was very fast and it helped me go fast because I didn't have to go back over a ton of areas. Overall, I'm actually quite happy with how the other are coming out. I don't think that I'm finished. The goal was to get 3,000 points of Eldar done. And I'll say that right now we're looking that it's going to be about 2,600 points of Eldar. Maybe like 2670 or something, but it wasn't quite 2,700. Definitely just didn't build enough. I should have done the points earlier, but we didn't have the codex, so I was just hoping I was going to hit 3,000. And then I had a more nuanced Berelder that I was going to build if I fell short, but I just didn't have the time. We're going to post a lot of pictures on social media about this Eldar army when it's completely done. Actually, I'll probably post some in progress pics too. But was really, really happy. This is also the first time I've done an army with all Army Painter paints. Not everything here that I did was speed paint. All the infantry are pretty much purely speed paint, other than like gold and metallics. But like the vehicles, I definitely did use some normal paint. I also used speed paint for gems, which I thought was really cool. So speed paint, when I was painting like the soul gems on the other vehicles, I texted Adam, I'm like, hey, I've literally never painted a Spirit Stone before. I don't really paint Eldar ever. And I've seen like, there's different gem effects, and I asked him like what to do. And Army Painter has some gem effects paint. We didn't have them in house. So, for like, let's do it right now. What I ended up doing was I did their plate metal silver, which is gunmetal. I did gunmetal as like a base coat. And over like it was like painted black, then gunmetal over that. Then I did like smaller circle of shining silver, which is like a very bright silver. And then when that was dry, I just did one layer of blood red. Nope, slaughter red. I did slaughter red, which is their lighter red paint. I did one quick coat of slaughter red over it, let it dry, and it creates a pretty good looking gemstone, honestly. Like I was again, for just going as fast as possible, let me paint a gemstone. 3 steps is I probably could have done 2 just to go like super speed, but I wanted it to look good, and that's a harder thing to go back and touch up on, so I wanted to do it right. I was very happy with how the gemstones come out. I'm actually really, really happy with the tanks, if I'm being honest. I was very, very pleased with how the Biel-Tan tanks are looking. Yeah, that's where I'm at with speed paint. Again, very, very happy, I think. Kind of following the tips that Adam gave me, I made sure that I didn't fall into any of the reactivation pitfalls. Which, by the way, if you are about to get speed paint, or you are interested in it, or you've heard about the reactivation issues, I don't think that they're problems at all. I would honestly though go watch that video from Thursday with me and Adam, because Adam Abramowitz of the Army Painter did a great job of explaining how the reactivation works and how to make sure that you don't put yourself at a disadvantage by using it wrong. So I really enjoyed it, and with his instructions I had 0 problems. And trust me, I am not a commissioned painter. I'm not an award-winning painter. So if I can do it, guaranteed anyone who just watched the video could do it as well. Overall, though, was really, really happy. I gotta say, I'm probably going to keep using it. Now that I have a bunch of speed paint, the next army that I do, I'm going to look at like what parts of it I can do with speed paint just to make it faster. I'm kind of excited to see if they keep making speed paints. And I also haven't tried mixing speed paints yet. That's something I want to do, because with contrast, I ended up mixing a couple of blues together to get the kind of the color that I wanted, and that's how I did my Space Marine army. I actually, I'm probably going to experiment around with mixing blues to see if I can replicate or get a very close color to what I used from contrast and get that same color in Army Painter Speed Paint, and I can use that on my Space Marines, because that is what I would love to do. Yeah, that's all I've got for today, folks. So thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm really excited about Army Painter Speed Paint. Guarantee we're going to be using it in the future. So make sure to stay tuned, watch us on social media, and check out our Streamhouse RTT coming up this week. As a matter of fact, on Thursday, this Eldar army is going to be on stream as Brad Chester plays against Nick Nanavati with Craft World Eldar against Eugene Stiller Cult. I'm really excited to get that on the table, because I think this Craft World Eldar army is going to blow the Eugene Stiller Cult out of the water. I'm just talking about the paint. I don't know who's going to win the game, but considering I painted a lot of the Eugene Stiller Cult, I'm already looking at this Eldar army with the speed paint, and I'm thinking it's a really good looking army. So, Matthew, did I finish already? Honestly, to my shame, no, I did not. I'm really close to done. I've got about, of the 27-ish 100 points that I have built, all of the models are like at least 3 colors, but I want to do a little bit more detail work on like the characters before I'm done. So all the tanks are done. All 30 aspect warriors are painted. Of the 9 jet bikes, 6 of them are painted, are like pretty much done. 3 of them need like the riders painted, and then the characters, which is 2 warlocks, Spirit Seer, Farseer, and an Autarch. All of them are at like 3 color, and they need to be finished. So we unfortunately fell a little bit short. By Sunday afternoon, I kind of threw in the towel, put down my paintbrush, and went over and had dinner with my girlfriend, and said that I would finish up this week, because I gave in. I'd painted for about like I think Friday I painted from about 9 a.m. till about 11:30 p.m. And then Saturday from about 9 a.m. to like 7:30 p.m. And then by the time Sunday we hit about 6 o'clock, I like looked down and I was like, you know what? This is getting finished during the week. But I think that the army will be completely done by the time we're playing it on stream on Thursday. So make sure you check that out, and check out our social media, where we're going to be sharing a lot of pictures of the progress. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Matthew. And we'll catch you next time. So I'm going to send you off with a commercial for the War Room. If you like our content here at the Art of War, make sure to check out our global community in the War Room. Joining the War Room gets you access to all of our content and our Discord channel. You can check that on our website, theartofwar40k.com, or right here on YouTube by becoming a member. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good one.
There's so many rules in 40k, hundreds of events, and constant updates. Skip the learning curve of Warhammer and join the pros. Art of War is led by multiple world champions with decades of success. We teach clinics, stream games, and inspire you to succeed at your favorite hobby. Join our global community of gamers just like you.